Well, breaking news to share with you guys today. There may very well be a potential new virus leak in our future as Sudanese fighters have taken over a lab. What on earth is a lab doing in Sudan anyhow? Well, who knows? But never fear. The World Health Organization has been called in and they have issued a worldwide warning. As if I trust anything coming out of the mouth of the World Health Organization. They are one of the most corrupt organizations in the world. So I guess there really isn't any hope for humanity after all. Well, let's dive into what exactly is going on. For starters, just so you guys know, right now there is two Sudanese factions that are fueling bloodshed over in that country. One of them being the Sudanese Armed Forces and the other being the Rapid Support Forces. The good news is there is now a ceasefire, but let's dive into some of what's going on so I can give you a background before I get to that potential new virus leak. But take a look. This is on CBS News. Pentagon considers sending contingent of troops to Port Sudan to help the Americans there. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, I think I just threw up in my mouth, said the two Sudanese factions that are fueling the bloodshed, the Sudanese Armed Forces and the Rapid Support Forces, have agreed to at least a 72-hour ceasefire starting at midnight. The U.S. is coordinating with partners and stakeholders to assist in the creation of a committee to oversee the negotiation, conclusions, and implementation of permanent cessation and hostilities and humanitarian arrangements in Sudan, Blinken said. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said on Monday that the U.S. has deployed intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance assets to support land evacuation routes, which Americans are using, and we're moving naval assets within the region to provide support. That's the good news. American citizens have begun arriving in Port Sudan, and we are helping to facilitate their onward travel. The Pentagon is sending ships off the coast of Port of Sudan to help Americans who arrive there, according to a U.S. official. There is currently only one U.S. Navy ship, a destroyer in the Red Sea. That's the good news. The good news is that we're getting American citizens out. Hopefully they're doing it efficiently and effectively and not leaving the same kind of chaos behind as they did with Afghanistan. But unfortunately, Antony Blinken, I have no hope or faith in him either, but my hope is that they are getting the Americans out as we speak. Now, here's the interesting part, and that is that the World Health Organization has issued a biological risk after Sudan fighters have seized a lab in Sudan. Take a look. This is on Communist News Network of all places. But who warns of biological risk after Sudan fighters seize a lab as violence mars U.S. brokered ceasefire? It goes on. The World Health Organization warned on Tuesday of a huge biological risk after Sudanese fighters seized the National Public Health Laboratory in the capital of Khartoum, as foreign nations race to mount rapid evacuation efforts from the country and violence punctured a fragile U.S. brokered ceasefire. It goes on. A high-ranking medical source told CNN that the lab, which contains samples of diseases and other biological material, had been taken over by the RSF forces, which are the Rapid Support Forces there in Sudan. The World Health Organization did not appoint blame for the lab seizures, but said medical technicians no longer had access to the facility. Naeem Saeed Abid, the World Health Organization representative in Sudan, described the development as, quote, extremely dangerous because we have polio isolates in the lab. We also have measles isolates in the lab. And hey, we also have cholera isolates in the lab. There is a huge biological risk associated with the occupation of the Central Public Health Lab in Khartoum by one of the fighting parties, he added. The WHO said in a statement to CNN that trained laboratory technicians no longer have access to the laboratory and that the facility had suffered power cuts, meaning it's not possible to properly manage the biological materials that are stored in the laboratory for medical purposes. That is downright chilling. The medical source also informed CNN that the danger lies in the outbreak of any armed confrontation in the laboratory because that will turn the laboratory into a germ bomb. An urgent and rapid international intervention is required to restore electricity and secure the laboratory from any armed confrontation because we are facing a real biological danger. You think? Yeah, when Sudanese fighters go in and take over the lab, and there's only polio and cholera and measles and who knows what else is in there that they're not telling us about. We got labs in Ukraine, we got labs in China, we got labs in Sudan, we got labs in fill in the blank. Now, for the rest of this broadcast, I am going to have to publish this on restrictedrepublic.com. You guys are going to want to hear the other half of this report because it's very important information. Remember, the information that you get here on YouTube is the information that they and they alone want you to hear. So please get on over to Restricted Republic to hear part of the other half of this report. And trust me, you're not going to want to miss it. You're going to want to get over there. But the rest of this report, use the coupon code LISA and the number 5. That's Lisa and the number 5 to get it for $5 per month. Trust me, you won't be disappointed. Hope to see you on the other side.